because everybody has a set of values, and because it's dictating how they see the world and act upon the world, determining their sensory and motor functions, all decisions at any split second is being based upon those value systems. So their life is completely demonstrating their values 24 hours a day. Now what happens is, as they go through life, sometimes they subordinate themselves and minimize themselves relative to people who they think have more than them. Maybe they think somebody has more wealth than them, or more intelligence than them, or more spiritual awareness. Or maybe they think that they're more successful, or maybe they have a better relationship, or maybe they're more socially connected, or maybe they have better looks. Anytime they tend to minimize themselves relative to somebody else and subordinate themselves to them, they tend to inject other people's values into their life and try to be more like them. Emerson said, envy is ignorance and imitation is suicide. Because instead of being authentic to ourselves, we start to be somebody we're not. When we do, we consciously think, I want to do this. But our unconscious, which is based on our real values, keep making us do what's truly in our value system. It keeps making us make decisions, it keeps making us see things and act upon things. So anytime we consciously try to go off in a direction that's not matching our unconscious, there's an incongruency. Now, one of the signs of incongruency is you hear yourself inwardly or even outwardly, vocally, saying, I should be doing this, I got to be doing this, I need to be doing this, I'm supposed to be doing this, which are all languages of imperatives and outside authorities. When somebody's congruent, they say, I love doing what I do. I'm inspired by it. This is what I've always dreamed of. Because now their values and their actions are congruent. The word fulfillment is directly proportional to how well those are congruent. So when you feel fulfilled and grateful for life, they're congruent. Now, if all of a sudden you're setting goals or objectives or things that you want to create or manifest that are not, you get what you could call resistance. You start getting this part that makes you think, somehow I'm not on track. I keep going off track. I can't stay focused. What's wrong with me? I keep sabotaging. I keep not manifesting. Those are all signs that you're not congruent. The reason being is because whether you consciously or unconsciously are aware of it, you are constantly manifesting with the secret 24 hours a day, whatever your values are. Now let me give you an example, something that just happened today. I had the opportunity to drive with a lovely lady into this airport hotel. And what's interesting is, as I was driving, she was saying, you know, I would really like to manifest a man in my life now. I'm ready for a man in my life. And I said, no. And she goes, what do you mean no? And I said, no. If you were truly ready to manifest a man in your life, you'd have a man in your life. She goes, what do you mean by that? And I said, because your unconscious is constantly creating your reality. And what you consciously think you want and what you're unconsciously actually wanting are two different things right now. And she says, well, what do I do about that? I really want a man. I said, no, let's just look at that. I said, what do you think you're looking for in a man? We made a list of things that she was looking for in a man. We'd itemized some things. And I said, now where are those in your life right now? Let's go one by one and itemize those. Where do you have somebody that's having deep conversation with you? Who's somebody that's giving you hugs? Who's somebody that's somewhat sensuous and has affection for you? Who's it that thinks you're attractive? And we itemized each one of those things, and I found a dozen men in her life that were actually pulling in each of those pieces. And then we said, what else are you looking for in a relationship? One that gives me freedom. Well, who is it that's providing you freedom? And we itemized everything she was looking for in a man, and we found out that instead of having it in one man, she had it dispersed between a dozen men. And then I said, now, the last time you were in a relationship with a man, one man, what were some of the pains you had? Well, we sometimes would have arguments. He'd want to do sometimes I didn't want to do. Sometimes he expected me to be doing something I really didn't want to do. It was not priority. He wanted me to wait on him sometimes. We went through all these different things. And in her mind, there were more drawbacks than benefits of being with one man. So even though her conscious self, which is what she's injecting from all her friends, says, I want a man, her unconscious was associating pains with past relationships dealing with men. So as long as she had pains associated with those men and unconsciously was avoiding them, but yet still wanting all those traits, that she did want. She automatically was manifesting every trait she was looking for in a disbursement of men that allowed her to go home at night and have freedom. And not have to be attached, not have to wait on somebody, etc., and could call and say, look, I have to go now, and just do it exactly in the time and the degree that she wanted it. She says, when she finally listened to that, saw that, she goes, man, this is amazing. I realize now that I've really done that, including my father. I'm connected to him, and he plays part of that role. And I've got another guy that wants to buy me things, and I got another guy that wants to do things for me, and another guy that's really spiritual, wants to meditate. And I said, can you see that you've never had one man that's done all that? She goes, yeah, and I think I was expecting one man to do that. Can you see that's a false expectation? It's not real. No human being is going to do all those things for you. She did, and so she said, can you see that you had built up some anger of that, and you were married once, and you see that there's some pain associated with that? She goes, yes. I said, unless we go back and dissolve some of the pains and put that back into perspective, which I have a method for, I call the Demartini method, to help dissolve all that past illusion and baggage. Then, and as long as you have more associations that are beneficial over here and more pains over here, you're going to move over here and take your so-called soulmate that you're looking for and disperse it into a variety of mates. I always say the soulmate in everyone's life is always present, but it's either in one or many forms. If it's more painful to have it dispersed, we get it in one. If it's more painful to have it in one, we get it in many. So after we got through, she was now intrigued because she realized, oh my God, everything I am looking for is really in that form. And she said, I feel energized right now. I feel empowered right now. I said, can you see that you are a master creator? Your unconscious motives are constantly creating your reality. You're not missing anything. Your real motives, not your fantasy motives, we're really manifesting this. Now, if you want to change your values, I can show you, I can take and go through and do the Demartini method and dissolve all the pains of all those past relationships, including the ex-husband. And we can show up some pains and drawbacks on dispersing it like this. And we can literally shift your consciousness because we're shifting your values. And then you start manifesting one. And you'd be amazed at how quick you will manifest a new relationship in your life. And you'll get one guy. But if you have an expectation of him providing everything with you, you're probably unrealistic. So the ideal relationship is you have one that's very close and intimate, and you have a variety of other male figures that allow you to take maybe intellectual conversation or other factors in your life. And a balance between the one and the many, as what the Greeks said many thousands of years ago, is the wise thing in life. And you have one special one that's intimate, and you have many that are friends. And anyway, all I know is that she realized this. She had kind of a lightness feeling, and she realized, wow, I really have the power, and I have created that. And my values did that. And so, again, we go back to the secret. The law of manifestation, or the law of attraction, is we attract our innermost dominant thought. We dominate our thought on what's truly important to us. But the thing is most of us don't know ourselves. It goes back to the Delphic Oracle. Know thyself, be thyself, love thyself. So few people know who they are. They don't know what their values are.